Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Monday, July 17th, just coming on 6 a.m. Futures have been pretty flat. They've been pretty flat all night long. Looking over there on the Nikkei fractionally down with a bearish view. Very bearish rollover over on the FTSE. Same thing with the DAX. Down 0.5%, down 0.6%. Bitcoin, relatively flat, and Ethereum as well. The US dollar not looking good, not at all. So that's what we're dealing with as we're heading in from the outside point of view. Crude, absolute puke after hitting that big 76.89, down 1.7% as of right now. So we're heading into a Monday after getting a red close on Friday. Futures are very flat. Now, again, what I have shared from my experience, going back how many hundreds of thousands of years I've been sitting in this chair in front of all these screens, assuming that we do get a dip, the dip will make it to the 5-day moving average. That's it. 5-day moving average on the ES right now is just about 13 points lower than where we're currently at. So because that's the way the video game works, I would not have very high expectations for a downside move without any kind of headline hitting today. As for today on headline, whoa. As for today on headlines, nothing. G20 meeting going on, ECB Lagarde, ECB Lane, and ECB Elderson. Nothing. Zero. Nada. So we don't have any economic data coming out today. We do have retail sales tomorrow and Fed's bar. But yeah, as for today, again, having been that we are in this very compressed trading range, 30 points, maybe 35. However, we haven't had a 40 plus point range trading session other than the two that we got there, June 27th, and then again there on July 7th, since June 16th, which was OPEX week, which we had some very nice volatility during OPEX week, 50, 54 points, 76, 41. This is OPEX week that we're going into now. Just had a green week last week, so coin flip as to where the tides are. Red week, green week. Again, 4,500 closes. First time we've ever closed in the 4,500s since April of 2022. And back then, it was a single close after coming off of that March high. So 130 points so far for the month. We are up 29.38% off the October bottom. Shared that. We are up 18.6% from the March bottom. Shared that. That's for the SPX. Over on the QQQ, up 41 points, 41% for the year, right? For the year. You're up 34% from the March lows. So you can put it all together, and like I keep saying, everything is inside the QQQ. We are all looking for the statement that actually shows the rebalance calculation and what different weights will be what. So with that taking place after this week, we'll see how that goes. However, 375.28 is your minus 1% level. 382 and 384, those blow off levels that we already reached up to on Friday. So I would not be very aggressive at the moment on trying to buy some out of the money puts over on the QQQ, as we don't even start getting any names to report until Wednesday, which is Tesla and Netflix, which I've shared my visions on those. So bring us on to where we're at and go through a quick rundown as to what's going on overnight. And unfortunately, we have some bad news. And the bad news is, bring you in, we have a gap down below on the VIX. Because we have a gap down on below on the VIX, we have to always consider that the VIX is always going to fill the gaps below before it's going to fill the gaps above. 1451 remains the line in the sand where anything that's going to be bearish is going to have a VIX above that 1451, and it's going to need to hold that 1451. Bring you back over here onto the SPX. Again, you got two big gaps from last week. 41 points of last week's range was in the gaps. So first gap here for 44.72, 44.89. I would fully expect the gap to either be visited or broken into and filled. Back down to that 100% above the COVID low, close 44.74.80. That is also a minus 1% drop. Now, filling the second gap, going to be a data-driven or economic report that would trigger, should we get a gap fill down to this, 44.40, 44.63. And again, a little bit of a warning that that is a 2% drop. Like I shared on the weekend, we have not been getting 3% drops on the SPX ever since March. The drops are curtailed. So something to have into consideration as we are progressing through the course of this week until that pattern changes, which is now going on 4 months. QQQ, 7% move off of that June 26th. Bang, bang, up here to 382.86. 384.28 is my blow off. Using here the retracements, 23.6, 38.2, and the 50 retracement down to this low where this major move took place. You've got your two gaps here from last week, 375.46, 372.90, and your gap down below, which again, I would not be very aggressively expecting this gap to be filled this week. 370.30, 368, for two reasons. It is the 50 retracement, and should the QQQ come down to here, the SPX will undoubtedly already be threatening greater than a 2% drop, which, as I said, we don't get. So I'll leave you with this. I have on finviz.com, they've got a great screener. I've used it for years. And on this particular screener, when I'm bored or have nothing to do, I'll go out here and look at optionable stocks with an RSI that are overbought, greater than 70, and their price is over $40. Now you can go, you can go much higher than that. You can go 50, 100, you go any range you want. But that's what I like for my screen, just so it gives me something to go out and look at. Now, you have a total of 206 stocks that have this criteria that fits. Over $40, optionable, overbought with an RSI greater than 70. Now, the first one that automatically comes to mind is RH. I would avoid that only because I've seen their option chain in the past. Then you come over to Joe, the St. Joe company, nothing to do there. But then you have MicroStrategy Monster, which is getting its run very similar to Coinbase. Come over here and we will first pull up the chart on MSTR, which I've had a very detailed one in the past. Oh, there you go. 2021 open, 416.33. So 416.33 is going to be your drop spot. So next thing we do is we come over onto the option chain and see whether or not you have any decent options, and repeat the same process over and over and over until we start finding stuff that kind of fits. And over here, MSTR, not getting the data to pop up here only because I'm doing this in pre-market hours, but big range here. You got nearly a $2 spread, a $1.50 spread on your calls and on your puts. Actually, $2 spread over on your calls. Selling something here doesn't really look too attractive to get into a spread, but we'll look at it when we get into real time. But yeah, without a doubt, MSTR overbought up here at the 416.33 with the open. Here's your 4-hour RSI. Very clear that, yes, you do have a very strong potential to not only break down to 416, but 379. And we'll zoom out on a much wider view. And yeah, here you go, March highs. It's pretty identical to everything else that's going on out there. Here's your August highs, almost an identical chart to the SPX. So not the greatest alternative, but definitely one of those ones that if you know MSTR and you want to trade it, feel free. Coinbase is up there as well. You know about Coinbase. Domino's Pizza is still trending sideways after that Uber deal. Trade Desk, Paycom, a lot of high level stocks. But again, this is a pretty good screener to use to go out there and start looking for stuff. Match.com. Are you kidding me? Match.com. Are you fucking kidding me? Seriously. I swore this thing would have been bankrupt by now. Come on, dude. MTCH, Match.com. Are you fucking kidding me? This is overbought. Yeah, it is definitely overbought. Look at this piece of shit. Match.com. Who in the fuck is buying Match.com? Anyway, wow, Match.com. So, okay, Match.com, MTCH, not MYCH, Match.com, Match.com, Match Group. Jesus, man, these are penny options. This is 50-cent increments, just as good as Delta Airlines was. Oh, man, there's no volume. There's literally no fucking volume. Match Group, Match.com. So, anyway, guys, I'm not going to waste your time. Again, it's a really cool screener. I'll share it with you in the email. And by all means, anything you need, anything you want, drop me a private message, send it to me directly. And I appreciate the time. Half a dozen of you took over the weekend to do one-on-one calls. Really helps me out to know where you're at, know where you're working with. And then, like I say, message me directly constantly in the chat as much as you want on anything you want. Knowing more about you helps me answer the question more appropriately because I can see how it would fit for you and can kind of give you an idea and share some things with you. So have a great morning. Have a great start to the week. Remember, markets are open 252 days out of the year. No need to go rush and get involved immediately because the opening bell rang. See you guys in the chat room.